Now it's recording. Thank you. And she is a rock star. I like to call her a no-nonsense coach. We ran a Push to Diamond group with her back in March. So if you were in that, you got to see her vibe and what she's all about. Strong leader, has a strong team. I had the opportunity to speak to her team this week, which was awesome. And she builds leaders. So she not only recruits quality rock star business building coaches, which she's going to talk to us about tonight, but she also teaches them how to be leaders, and she's very duplicatable. She teaches her team how to be solid, how to build significant income, and I'm just super honored that she has decided to speak on our call tonight. So I will hand it over to her so she can share with us all she has to talk about recruiting. You good, girl? I can't find you.
All right.
Okay.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
All right. Good to go. Oh, wait, hold on. I always tell people, I'm like, don't worry, you can be technologically impaired and still be successful. I am proof of that. Hold on one sec. Every time I think I'm prepared, I'm totally not. One sec here. Okay. You guys see Google Drive? Something to that effect.
Yes.
Me and my little monk. All right, thank you. Okay, I don't like to go into my story deep or excessively because I just would rather speak and teach and give you knowledge. But I feel like that's something everybody does, and I keep leaving that part out. So with you guys, I was like, I'll integrate that back in. So I am a single mom to Daniela, my little 4-year-old going on 14 daughter. And I'm sure she'll try to make some cameo and do this just like she did on Raquel's call. I was a critical care nurse for about 7 years at the Veterans Hospital in Tampa, Florida. And then I actually was with my ex-fiance. We ended up having this beautiful baby together, and he used to play pro hockey. It was very rocky. Things just, he was addicted to pills and had all sorts of issues post-career. And he also had a terrible concussion coming out of the hockey world. And I don't know if you guys know, like, if you ever saw the movie Concussion, that was like basically him. And it was really crazy because he just never had a plan for coming out of playing professional hockey. But that is besides the point, because I had to choose. I was like, I'm not making decisions for me anymore. I'm making decisions for me and a child. And I decided to come back to Pittsburgh, where I am right now. And I came back and I moved in with my parents, which was extremely hard to do when you have your own life, your own condo, your own life, like friends. I had created my own life in Florida, came back to my life in Pittsburgh. But I knew that was what was going to be best for my child because it's where my support system was. And I knew, so I had this beautiful baby and she was healthy, wonderful. 3 months postpartum, I was still like slinging diapers, trying to figure everything out. It was very hard because I was heartbroken. I just kept wondering next day, like, what am I going to do? Am I going to survive motherhood? You know, if you've ever been a mom or you're a new mom, you understand what I'm saying, because you just wonder, like, oh my gosh, like, what's tomorrow going to bring? Can I do this? And yes, you can. We can do hard things. But when I was about 3 months postpartum, I woke up and I was like, I just need to get back to me. If I don't feel good about myself, if I don't feel good in my skin, or I'm just like not back to who I am, which was, I was always kind of a fit person. I was always very into health. But I just knew I had to be the best mom I could be for this little girl, because I didn't know if I was going to be the only person around or what was going to happen regardless. I knew I was her mother and I had to be the best mom possible. I was really skeptical and hesitant about Beachbody. I thought MLMs were completely icky. And I still gave it a go. So after about 2 months being a discount coach, I went full in January 2014. In about 16 months, and I surpassed my base income weekly being a registered nurse. So like, if you kind of do the math, you can kind of figure it out if you want to look that up. I'm not going to like go into numbers, but my team is Fit Tribe Elite. We're a 2-time top ranked elite team. Sorry, I took this off of a a biz off call. And 7-star combined coach, like Raquel said, but we're actually now 2-star qualifying in another business center. So super exciting for us. I do earn 6 figures now. This is my first year earning 6 figures, or last year was my first year earning 6 figures. It's very exciting to be able to do something like that, because when you reflect on it, it's just kind of mind blowing that you were able to do something like that. And actually, I'll be honest with you, I started with coaches like Bonnie Engel, and I was training with Robison and people like that, and they were all surpassing me very rapidly. I was kind of like the slow grow. I was very much actually the slow grower of those people. And I want you to put your blinders on and not compare yourself to people around you, because you know what? That doesn't matter. I was such a slow grow, but it didn't matter because I got where I needed to be, and that's what matters. And I'll tell you something, is that being a 6-figure earner, that's great, wonderful, but nothing compares to the flexibility and freedom that this business gives me as a single mother. Okay. Very briefly going to touch on this because I feel like I kind of talked to Raquel and, I don't know, but I'm going to talk to you just going into recruitment. We have to talk about your why. We all have a pageant why, and we all have a real why. So I just want you to know the difference between the two. You have a pageant why, and that pageant why is the why that you go on stage and you're like, hi there, I want to save the world, I want world peace. We all have that why, and it's very valid. It is very real. It's very normal. We all want to help people get in health, like get into shape, get into health. Sorry, health and fitness is what I was going to say, but to get into shape. And what, when I got into this business, I was like, oh my gosh, all these mothers started messaging me when I started sharing my transformation. They're like, how'd you do that? Oh my gosh, you just had a baby. And I'm like, what, girl, you can do this too. And it was giving the vision to people so they knew they could do this. And these moms, I was like, you don't have to let yourself go because you had a child. This is where you need to be your best. You can't pour from an empty cup, and that's where my vision went with that. That was my pageant why. Not only that, that was my other part of my pageant why was I want to be that healthy example to my daughter. I'm going to show her how living healthy, eating healthy, everything I know that I do, she will follow. She may not listen to what I say, but she'll do what I do. And it's so proven true to this day. People just like come to my house and they're like, why did you I asked her what she wanted for dinner last night and she told me steak and asparagus. Like, how many 4-year-olds say that? It's like mind blown, but it's because she follows what I do. And it's not, but if I was telling her, here, you have to eat steak and asparagus, do you think that's what she would do? Heck no. So you really have to differentiate that pageant why. And that's my pageant why. Now, my real why was where it came down. And don't feel bad about it, but it has to be what pushes you forward no matter what. It has to be emotionally driven. And this is what it's about choosing your heart, because you know what? It's not a matter of as if it's going to get hard, because it will get hard. And this is why it has to be that your why has to be strong enough to push you through when it gets hard, when stuff gets shitty. And this is that why, because I'll tell you, the pageant why is not going to bring you through to push through that hard. And the push for that hard when I initially started working in this business was income. I was like, I wanted, well, kind of income, but yeah. And you shouldn't feel guilty of that, because I feel like some people feel like, oh, that's so no, it's not. I feel like income and money, it's like a lifeline. You have to have it to live. That is not selfish based. To want to have that so you can be present and provide for your family, for my daughter. That's what my vision was for that. So you have to have a vision, you have to have a reason, and you have to have something that is your real why. Because the only person who gets to choose whether you're going to settle or go for more is you. So let's talk about the mindset shift here. We're going to start with what this call's about is recruiting. It was so funny because I was like, Raquel, I'm just going to let you know this call's primarily not going to be about vision. It's going to be more about recruiting. But like, I feel like vision kind of works in there with the why, and you'll see a little bit later why. More will come into it. But also know, if you don't have a notebook, grab one because you'll need it. All right. Recruiting is not a dirty word. People like treat it like that. I used to actually frame it to, I have this note on my desk that actually says recruiting, and I like X'd it out because I used to think it was like a dirty word. And I used to think building relationships of trust. So if you need, like if you're like Megan, I can't think of recruiting as anything else, put it in that perspective. Put recruiting, X it out, building relationships of trust, and put trust in huge letters. Actually, well, you probably can't see me. I'm not sure. But like that is my post-it. That is a post that helped me shift my mindset the first direction. And now I can look at recruiting and I'm like, oh no, it's not a dirty word. It's not a bad word at all. You know? But what I will tell you is that I used to always frame recruiting to my team as building your team. And now, like, no, that's sugarcoating shit for people. And the reality is let's talk about selling versus recruiting. If you are going to sell products, you will earn money for now. That is A-okay. If that's what you want to do, you want to sling product all day long, that's great. That's okay. And we will stand behind you 100% as your coaches. I'm sure Jess and Raquel and anybody, like they will all do it. But I will tell you that that's just a for now thing. So that's something you have a pressure on you all the time. It's like I always felt like when I had to sell, it was always weight on my shoulders. And I'll tell you, when you start recruiting coaches, if you can recruit coaches, help them duplicate success, you will earn money forever in this business. And I'm not saying that in a sliming way. I mean it in the best of ways. And I will elaborate on that in a little bit. But let's talk about the number one reason people start this business. Want to know why? It's because somebody asked them. Most people never even considered it until they were approached or asked or integrated into our system, being a challenger, or, you know, just their best friend started doing it. And the best friend said, be my accountability partner. Let's go. Like, once again, being a challenger or something brought into the vital process. By the way, if you have questions, just post them into the chat and I'll answer them in the end. But number two, you have to compare it to why they don't. Why you want to know the number one reason why people don't actually, not even just coaching, I'm actually speaking about network marketing in general, why they don't do it is because no one ever asks them. People have never even considered it, and that people are not going to come knocking on your door at first. I'll say at first. Once you have built up yourself, where you have a reputation, where you have enough leverage, where you're, you know, if that's your goal and you want to be at the top of the network, then yeah, you will have some people. They may not be your tribe, and you can sign whoever you want, but that won't necessarily benefit you in the long run. But you will not have your people knocking at your door, ever. You always must reach out for your tribe because they are out there. And I'll tell you, if you're not going to reach out to them, someone else will. Last but not least, it's a numbers game, guys. I'll get into that in a little bit, but don't prejudge, don't hesitate. Don't hesitate. Don't hold back when you have that like hesitation when you're about to just don't do it, because I'm telling you, the more people you talk to, the more successful you will be. So I'm going to actually breeze through this really fast because Raquel and Jess have this sheet from me with from our diamond group. Actually, I think it's with our tribe, the building your dream team type thing, and it's about who in your life do you know that could use more. It talks about physical fitness, financial freedom, freedom of time, and it kind of elaborates going into each of those subjects. If for some reason you guys don't have that sheet for some reason, which you both should, let me know and I can just send it over. I can send you over the Google link for it. But there are so many people you know that could use our opportunity. And that's the thing. It's just a matter of where you frame your mindset to find those people. And another place where you're going to find them besides these things listed here, like I said, there's a sheet that I'll send to you guys, or that we'll give you. It's going to go into those people with influence already. If you know people who are into, they have great followings, or they're like, maybe they are big on social media. Maybe they're huge bloggers or they're big influencers on IG, or that go-to person, you know, in that mom's group. There's this one lady who is in a mom's group of mine in Pittsburgh, and I'm like, if I didn't have you for my life, I'd be lost, because Daniela and I would like, she's like the navigation of my motherhood. I joke with her. I'm like, I'm so happy I have you. But, you know, or people that, you know, that just have tons of interaction. People are just so intrigued by them and just love. And already those people there are entrepreneurs. I mean, hairstylists, personal trainers, real estate agents, people that have tons of contacts. Those are people that already have a lot of influence that I'm sure you know, or that I'm sure you've probably connected with and done business with, and you've probably already have some loyalty to. So something to think about right there, because start looking at this list. And actually that's like kind of like a call to action for you right here is I want you to take that dream team list that they have, and I want you to go and build a new list of people to contact. And I want you to build a brand new dream team list. And I want you to take your list. I usually tell my coaches to start with 10 people. I want you to attempt to build a dream team list of 40 people. I promise you that it sounds daunting. It sounds crazy. But if you do that, you will bring those people into your business. And we will talk about numbers here shortly. And then you'll be like, okay, yeah, I'm going to go after all 40 of those people. You betcha. So sharing the biz up. How do you share the business with others? You can privately invite. There's one-on-one conversations. And then, of course, I always say like, hey, guys, you know, honestly, I feel like people freaking overcomplicate the shit beyond belief. Give them a compliment. Let them know why they would be good at what we do or what you do. Say, you know, I think you really are just so amazing. You're a nurse. You just have a heart for helping others. I just know you would, and you have a passion for fitness. I know you would be amazing at what I do. And then send them the invite. Like, what are you going to, like, what could go wrong with that? I think when you verbally vomit on people, that's where the invite goes wrong. And we'll get into that in a minute. But publicly inviting to your next coach mentorship group. This is old school for some people. I'm not even sure, because actually I didn't realize how close you were with starting the business with me. Like, but when I started the business, you had to invite to the coaching opportunity with your public invite. It was like very daunting, but there was no other option. We didn't have sneak peeks. Nobody really held, like none of the uplines, especially our upline, never like held anything for us to invite to. Like, it was like, you're out there on your own, figure it out yourself. And it was like, whoa, okay. So, you know, but like now when I think about it, I'm like, man, like, I don't know. I feel like sometimes being bold and just going for it shows that confidence in what you have. So I'll get into that in a second of how to publicly invite to your next group or to the business opportunity. Sprinkle coaching on your page daily as part of your life. I feel I'm not a great example to follow this. I think your coaches are great examples to follow for this. I just think they do, like, Ricardo's an amazing example of this. It's just, you guys have great examples of just sprinkling how, and not being so blunt about it, not being like Beachbody coaching or like putting a program out there, you know, very much like Shailene had talked about, you know, just the curiosity marketing, because that's where it is now. It's not about attraction marketing, it's curiosity. Okay. In your challenge group, utilize, in your challenge groups, guys, you know, you want to look at your challenge groups and remember that that's where you're going to find your people. You're going to find your people. Some of them are going to be really obvious. You're going to have front row divas, but then you're going to have back row pearls with your, personality differences. So what I do with that is I utilize my stats from tracking. When I look at I use the challenge tracker app. I'm still on the fence about it. I'll be honest with you. I'm not going to BS you on it, but you can look at your stats and you'll see, like, I don't like to go by like who's participating, but see who's consistent, see who's logging, see who's showing up and getting results all the time. Because from that, you won't be able to say, like, this person's going to be a great coach. This person's getting results. This person is serious about their health and fitness journey. So then you might find your back row pearl, but they just might have a different way of communicating. You know, front row divas, they're like the sapphire and the rubies of the party. So they're always up front, like posting on everything, giving everybody all this motivation and stuff, which those are great coaches too. But don't discount those back row pearls. So utilize your stats for tracking and seeing who may be great coaches. They're just like, I'll be honest with you, I'm terrible about it, because even I'm like, I always have my coaches like approach, or my challengers approach me, and they're like, I was thinking about coaching. I'm like, man, but also at the same time, I feel like I actually am better at attracting, bringing in coaches than I am at challengers. So that's why I'm doing this call. Anyway, sneak peek and glance groups. I feel like if you're going to do a sneak peek group, do it personally. Do a 3-day group, nothing more. Try to keep your information simple. Do a group. If you have more people in the group, what I found very effective for me is having very few people in the group, less than 10. I know that can seem very, oh my gosh, but my retention rate from doing that is about 80%, 78%. And the coaches are very much engaged. They feel like a number, or a name, not a number. So I'm hoping that makes sense. But versus being poured into, I do still run them for my coach. You know, I want my new coaches to have something to put their coaches into, or their potential prospects into. So I also have those about twice a month, or actually once a month, I'm sorry. And I have a webinar once a month. But when you go and think about it. If you're poured into a group with 100 people, what do you feel like? You kind of feel like you're just a number, and you're like, holy crap, like, I'm not the only one. Like, there's 100 people that are interested in this, and I'm just in one little group with a bunch of, like, one coach. They don't know there's a bunch of coaches in there. They don't know what's going on, because they don't know how we operate those things. So just really take that into perspective. I'll tell you, when I started doing my private groups, I actually duplicated my script, took it so my coaches could make it duplicatable for them and themselves and their downlines. And I feel like it's much more intimate and personal, and relationships are where this business is at, right? Relationships go with our challengers. Relationships are the same thing with our coaches. Webinar. Have a webinar on hand. If you really want to just connect with your people, have a webinar on hand, 30 minutes or less. Make it duplicatable so that you can give that to your downline, and your downline can give that to their downline, and whatever. I'm kind of speaking to leaders here in the group, but webinar, you guys can just follow the outline of Team Beachbodies. I mean, they're a little generic. I like to take bits and pieces from theirs. They provide you with a script. I'm actually in the process of revamping mine and providing my coaches with a script, because what I've found, and what I've learned from some of the mentors that I've been working with, that I've been collaborating with, is that what they do is they send a webinar for people that are interested. After they find out what their need is, they send a webinar, and then they get on the phone with them, and then it's like, boom. Like, we're talking about the people that I've collaborated with, they have a minimum of like 15 new coaches per month. Their usual recruitment is about 30 coaches per month. Okay. So I'm just giving you like a little gauge for where they are, where I started with that, and where and I've been actually just utilizing and implementing that for about 2 weeks, and it's actually been very successful. Live events. I'm not big on live events just because I don't have time for it. I'm a busy mom. I'm a single mom. I have very little time for this, but I have a coach who's number 13 in the network. She does sneak peeks where she goes live 5 days a week, for 5 days. It's just mind-blowing to me that she can do it, but she does. You can do Q&As, you can do happy hour events, you can do an event page and run an event over an hour where people post different things. So there's lots of things out there. Just figure out what works for you. I recommend finding two, we all have to do, I really feel staples are privately inviting, publicly inviting. Obviously we have to sprinkle the coaching, but then figure out, are you going to do, find 2 things you're going to do, or 2 events you'll do twice a month. So maybe it'll be 2 sneak peek groups. Maybe it'll be a sneak peek in a webinar. Maybe it'll be a sneak peek in a live event. But 2 events twice a month, okay? If you are a business builder coach. And always have a webinar on hand for somebody that needs you right away. I'll tell you about that, why you need that in a minute. Okay. Coach recruitment posts. Here we're going to talk about it really quick. Opening. You want to have, basically, you want to share a quote or statement about some success you've had with the business. Maybe it's a physical transformation. Maybe it's a mental transformation. Maybe it's a financial, like, win you've had. I don't recommend leading with the financial, to be honest with you, unless you want to attract people that just want to make money, and that will never be a long-term step. We'll talk about that shortly. But some questions that you can, I always like to ask questions that I found that to be very effective with my coach recruitment posts. But if you could, would it help you, or would it help, I'm trying to think of one. What's some of my good ones that I use? If you could work from home and reach your health and fitness goals, would you be interested? Like, those are the type of things you have to ask. If you could put it, insert whatever, would it help you with, insert something else? You know, you have to think, again, this could be physical, mental, or financial. I always think you should definitely include the physical part because we lead with health and fitness, but I always feel like you have to think of what you're trying to provide and what your avatar is in need of, okay, for your coaching avatar. Then you want to talk about your story. Where were you when you started? Where did things change for you? What has happened since coaching came into your life? And what is your life like now? Don't be afraid to get a little bit personal, but this is where, as women, we talk too much. So don't, be sure to send this to your coach so they can like look at it, revise it, send it back to you. Don't get offended if they cut out a bunch of shit, because we always talk too much. And the bottom line is you need to keep this stuff short, because if it's too long, you verbally vomit. People are going to be like, it won't even be vomit because people will very much be like related to your story. But like, the shorter you keep it, the shorter, the sweeter the story. Like, you know, and what coaching, basically your story, what coaching has done for your life, and then you want your call to action is the bottom line. You can put in, the closing can have what type of coach you're looking for. I found that to be very effective especially in the coach recruitment posts. Actually, I've always included them even in my personal page and my business page, where I will sometimes promote my posts. But you have to list the qualities and traits of what you're looking for in a coach. You can bust common stereotypes or what people like, excuses or objections. Like, you don't have to be a fitness expert. You can stay in the green with our business, which is like a beautiful, beautiful thing. Or what are the things you love about your team? Why should they join your team? What is your team about? The next steps, you have to make sure there's a closing or a call to action. I'm sorry. What will you ask them to do next? Are they going to fill in an application? Are they going to do Wufoo, Google Forms? There's Typeform. Comment below, send you a message. Collecting emails, I really feel is key. You can do all 3. You can do a combo of 2, whatever you're going to do. And don't forget the income disclaimer if you mention anything that's income related, because freaking compliance will come after you like a biatch. This is an old example, but this is like an example that I had. You guys are recording, so you can come back to it. I'm not going to go into it. Kind of, this is when I was starting. I didn't have the, I don't think I had the complaint. Yeah, I definitely didn't have that was before they started emphasizing that stuff. But this was like a coach recruitment post I used back in the day. It got great traction. This was around Christmas, before Christmas time. I never went with that approach of like, pay for your Christmas in cash, because I could never guarantee that for people. So I never, at the time, Raquel can probably relate, but people would always be like, oh, so you can pay for Christmas in cash. And I was like, I never ever want to promise something to somebody I can't keep. So I never went with that. But But and you can see, do you know anyone that wants to work from home and spend more time with their family, or have the financial freedom to quit their demanding job they don't even enjoy? There's a great example of a question that could have started that whole post. Okay. Sharing the business up. What do you share about this business with others? How's your journey? How's a challenge group helping you? And that's where you have to really start to share. Is it holding you more accountable? Is it the community support? Is it getting great results? What is helping you? Or, post consistently and confidently, and be bold and vulnerable. Also, how are your challenge groups helping other people? Not just with those Transformation Tuesdays, but the successes of your challengers, the successes of your teammates. Also, build a business binder. Carl he has a binder he carries around. Build your own business binder. Start getting your own drive where you're putting all these testimonials, screenshot all that stuff. Guys, that's huge. Even those comments like, oh my gosh, I woke up and I just was able to fit in that pair of skinny jeans for that message. A screenshot, all of that, guys. These are huge, huge intangible wins that are just so big. And that's a testament to what you do as a coach. And also, don't forget to share how coaching is helping you, and don't underestimate those small successes that could be totally a huge help to other people. I've been in a very interesting situation with my ex-fiance. I've never ever been able to talk about my income, just because we were going through custody battle. We were doing child support, which but anyways, I've never been able to talk about money. But it's been a blessing in disguise, because I feel like that was the best thing. When I started this business, that first year and a half, people would post their income stuff. Like, we're talking top coaches, everybody did. Everybody would post their top income and how they were having this income and this resolution effect. And I'd be like, God, I wish I could post, why can't I post anything? I can't post anything. But it's all been a blessing in disguise. Like, I really feel like God had a plan for me, because the people I brought into the tribe were the people that weren't hungry for money. They were people that really wanted to help each other, and that they were just people that wanted to be in this business to help others, and knew that it would trust the process. It would come over time. Example, even this was just at the end of last year, September 2016. I just shared, that was big for me to share, that I was able to pay her dance tuition in full, which it wasn't cheap. But it was just big for me to be able to share that. And I didn't really care what my lawyer said, because I was like, we haven't heard from her dad in so long, but you just don't underestimate those small successes, because me sharing that got so much feedback and so many people, and I was just like, wow, and it's not even, I was kind of uncomfortable sharing it, but I was like, you know what, this is huge for us. As a single mother, I'm able to pay for all of her dance tuition in full. I know there's so many families out there that can't do this at the beginning of the year. They have to pay month to month because of budgeting, and I don't have to worry about that. So just don't be ashamed of sharing in a very modest way. Then you can also, don't be worried about, if you have a success to share about this business, share it. Love your job. You don't want to be in this full time. Don't worry about that. That's totally okay. But share how you also love the perks of coaching, family vacations, the extra income. Not everyone wants to quit their job, and that is totally fine. And do not make people feel like they have to quit their job to be part of this business or be a business builder. If you do that, you will destroy your downline. You can destroy the dreams of coaches that have joined you. Also, you want to share that there's hustle and hard work. This opportunity is not for everyone, but it's for a lot of people. That's what Jeff Hill actually just posted on the wall today. But that's what you have to remember. Your dreams are worth the work. So share successes. If you don't have your own successes, no worries. If you're a new coach, shout out your teammates. Don't tag them, but share a little, because then you're going to lead people to them. I made that mistake. I used to tag my upline coach all the time, and then I'm sure I gave her a shitload of coaches by doing that. And I'm sure she probably loved it. But share a little bit about their lives, share how they're making coaching work for them, because people are still going to love to see that. And success breeds success. Share the lifestyle and give people a glimpse into your life as a coach. What does that look like? kind of like a Snapchat behind the scenes, even on Facebook or your Instagram. And remember, like, I put hashtag coach life, you can use that twice a week max if you're posting like 5 times a day. All right, last but not least, well, also not last but not least, but all right, so for building your tribe, you guys, you want to find you need to find your people's need and you need to fill it. So the heart of this business is helping people and our coaches reach their goals. So you need to refer back to who do you know? Like, who do you know? Who do you know and what do they need? Okay. So once again, go back to that building your dream team list. You're going to imagine that your person on your dream team is the target. Now I know this will kind of sound like weird, but the benefits of the coaching business opportunity are kind of your arrows. But before you take aim, I want you to pretend you're going to be blindfolded. Now, will your arrows reach their target if you were just to go talk to them about the coaching opportunity? Most likely they probably won't, because before you even take aim, you need to know where your potential coach or your potential dream team member stands. If you spend 8% of your time listening to someone, their ambitions, their needs, their experiences, their struggles, their priorities, their big, hairy, scary dreams, you will not waste your time shooting arrows that don't apply to them. Okay? Number 2, duplication. Reach out to as many people as possible. The more you approach, the more will join, and your organization is going to expand faster. Your team is going to grow. It is a ripple effect. You are that little stone dropped in the pond, and the ripples are going to go out. More lives changed. You get more coaches, more lives change. If you're a coach who's like, I just want to help people on their health and fitness journey, totally fine. But guess what? Bring more coaches on, more lives change. So your approach to recruiting has to be not only easy to learn, it has to be easy to remember, and it has to be easy to repeat. And then you have to be able to teach it. In nursing, we used to call it teach the teacher. When I was trained on something, it was called teach the teacher. Or, train the teacher? Yeah, teach the teacher. Train the trainer. That's what it was. I'm like, wait, something's off with that. Train the trainer. Train the trainer. You should be able to easily duplicate that in your downline. The more you stray from the tried and true, what you know works, the harder it's going to be to replicate what you're doing. And if you want to replicate, you have to be able to help people get success, right? So you must keep it as simple as possible. Number 3, it's not about you. Stop trying to convince people to join you, because it's all about them. If you change your mindset, you have to remember that, this business will change their life. And it's not about changing your life. It's about changing theirs. Keeping their unique circumstances in mind, showing a genuine interest in them and their life is totally key. Tailor your information to their interest level. If they're really showing you interest about being, I can tell you one of the number 1 mistakes I've seen happen in my downline is coaches going, I need to find business builder coaches and only sharing shit that's like business builder reminded. And I'm like, guys, you guys are not sharing like the heart of coaching. You're not talking about helping other people. You're not talking about like the basic foundation of coaching. You're talking about making an income and making like staying home with your kids and shit like that. But like, that's not what everybody wants. You have to start the foundation. Like, remember, tailor your information to their interest level where they are. Remember, not everybody's where you're going to go or where you want to be. And that's where forming comes in. The key points to touch on, you have to touch on their family. You got to know about their work, their hobbies, their friends, their priorities, their passions, and what they want to do that. Especially with your avatar. You're going to have I feel like you definitely have an avatar that's like your coach. And then I feel like you have that business building coach avatar. I have 2 avatars. I really do. I feel like I have a awesome community coach avatar, and then I feel like I have a business building coach avatar. Probably the only coach you'll ever hear say that, but I do feel like I have it because I feel like there's very different. There's a differentiation between the two, but I feel like that both are equally as important and definitely something to strive for and to think about. To think about what you're trying to attract and what you want to bring into your team. And remember that regardless of what they want and what you want, that you are doing them a favor, getting them started as a coach, guys. You are introducing them to an opportunity that's literally life-changing. Health, fitness, like personal development, like mentally, emotionally, like spiritually. It's just crazy what we have to offer. And not only that, then the end it be financially, right? And then the more you say, the less they hear. You guys are probably like, yeah, no shit, Megan, right? Like, you keep talking. No, but really, it's the bottom line is that words will not convince people to coach. The more time you spend talking, the less they will listen. So you have to ask questions. You have to lean in and listen and find the solution that coaching is going to provide for them and to really get them excited and let them know that there's change ahead. If I love the voice message memo because that I feel like it's a real easy way to streamline our business. But at the same time, remember that, and I'm like a super speed talker. The faster you talk, the more desperate you can sometimes sound. So keep that in mind. And at the same time, remember that not only can talking by voice memo give you it not only can add a personal touch, but it can also show your excitement, confidence, and passion. But just remember, don't go too fast. Keep it cool, keep it calm. Take that deep breath if you're very excited. And also remember, people are like water. We tend to flow the easiest and the route with the least resistance, right? So every complication, every unnecessary detail, every objection, aka all the verbal vomit you can put on people about coaching, gives them a chance to say, no, not right now, or no, thanks, not for me. Okay. I can tell you this from experience with, especially with cold market. I used to send this like really verbal vomit email that just was like too much information. I was just spewing vomit all over people. And then I was like, you know what? I think I'm sending too much info to people and it overwhelms them. So I tried to shorten it. And it's always about testing the waters. You're going to figure out your thing. But I shortened it. And it's like, after I did that, it's like, I was like, wow, my responses are much better. But it's all about testing and figuring out what your people need and what your tribe needs. It's a numbers game. Once again, I'm going to go back there. I'm going to tell you, work the numbers. Not everyone you approach will join, and not everyone who signs on will stay, guys. So must join with small goals, with very few having the intent to reach the top. And I'll be honest with you, only a few that do join will have what it takes to make that happen if they want to join the top. I can't even tell you how many people have signed up, like have filled out my application to join my group, cold market, and even like warm market people. They're like, I want to be a top coach. And I'm like, really? And then they like don't even respond to like me connecting with them about the coaching opportunity. I'm like, who the hell puts they're going to be a top coach and then doesn't even respond about it? Like, to me, I'm like mind blown. But there's people that would do that. But you're going to get a lot of dreamers, and guys, you have to love your dreamers. You just got to love your dreamers. And there are people who want to do it. They love it. They love coaching. They love what it's all about, but they lack the discipline, the determination, the consistency, and you can't get upset with them for that. Okay. You really just have to know that it's not magic. It's math. You have to continually be bringing people onto your team to continually be building your tribe and to be building your organization. Also, no, it's never too late or actually too early to get started. The sooner you start recruiting, the sooner you're going to get results. If you're new, don't worry. Enthusiasm and excitement carries much more weight than details. Don't waste your positive energy in any way, shape, or form. Channel that excitement into sharing what you're doing right now, why you started doing it with everyone you possibly can right from the start. If somebody says to you and asks you, I always tell my coaches, I'm like, you know more than anybody else that talks to you knows right now. And if they ask you a question, just say, I don't know, but I'll find out. That's all you have to say. That's all you have to say. I don't know, but I can find out. I will find out. Do not let inexperience or insecurity stop you from success. Because I'll tell you, the sooner you start, the sooner your first person will sign. And as you continue to have that, your success will build and your confidence will build, and you will continue to build your tribe. Before you know it, you're going to be advancing to diamond, then you're going to be advancing diamonds to star diamond and to beyond. And you're going to breed that success in your downline. So don't hesitate. Promise you, that would be one of the biggest mistakes you could ever make. Coaching is an emotional decision. I promise I'm almost done. People are driven by emotion, guys. They're not driven by logic. They base decisions on feelings, and then they justify them with reason. So belief and passion will inspire your prospects. You know, you have to be, and know that that is so important. This is once again, this is a business that works from the heart, and you have to remember that. Your posts need to speak to that. You need to speak to that, and you have to touch hearts by speaking from your heart. If you don't do that, if you leave that out, you keep it dry and very blah, you're not going to bring in what you need to bring into your organization. Also, you need to know that coaching is an emotional decision. Emotional decisions, as we know, as females, because I'm pretty sure there's no males on here unless I missed something, but how quick do our emotions change? Ooh. Well, you know, just depends. But like, when I feel like some of my coaches, like they find out somebody asks them about the coaching opportunity, and then they're like, Megan, when's the next sneak peek? And I'm like, are you kidding me? They're asking you about the coaching opportunity. This is where they need that webinar. This is where they need to be able to talk about it, because you can't wait until the sneak peek, because by then they're going to go talk to their best friend, or they're going to talk to the lady at the play date, or they're going to go to talk to sit at the park and talk about how they came across this amazing opportunity. And then that lady is going to talk about that lady who totally thinks it's sort of like pyramid scheme. And then it's going to influence them. It's going to make them change their mind. You have to remember, women get all these affected outside opinions, and they can easily be swayed. Coaching is such an emotional decision, guys. And if you want to bring your people in when they have that feeling, it's so key. That's when you're going to bring your coaches in that you want and that want to really be part of this, you know? Also, number one enemy with coaching is building your tribe with hype, aka bullshit. Enthusiasm is no excuse to exaggerate and misrepresent the efforts, so we recruit with integrity. The effort required to build a business, or the rewards or the income that come with this business, you better represent it intentionally and correctly. Because I'll tell you, I've seen coaches, I've seen it in my downline even, coaches that represent it like this is some cakewalk. I've seen, I'll never forget, like even like within the past like year or two, I'll be on Instagram and people are like, we're this business 1 hour home at less than an hour home a day, and you make 6 figures. And I'm like, bullshit, like what 6-figure business are you working? Because I know I work more than 1 hour a day. But also I have ADD, so maybe they really do have it figured out and I'm just wrong. So never mind, maybe I shouldn't say that. But time, you know, I always share that time and hard work and consistency and commitment are needed to be successful in this business, and to become especially to become a 6-figure earner. If people are really interested in that, I let them know that's from the start. If you back your belief in the coaching opportunity with realistic expectations and a genuine desire to help your coaches be successful, you will build a stable organization of people who understand that rewards and income will follow results. And last but not least, lead by example. You guys, like I said, just here, like work the numbers, start recruiting early, if you're new, don't worry, go for it. Because if you do that and you start recruiting your first coach, your second coach, and you start building that confidence, guess what you can do whenever you start teaching your coaches? So guess what I did? I did this. Lead by example. That credibility will be right in your action. What can your coaches say to that? They can't say anything. I'm totally like way over, because you guys are probably like, I know, I was like 30 minutes on the dot. I hope this is of value to you. But business builders, I'm very good at attracting business building coaches. And it's because I'm very much straightforward with what I want from my coaches and what I expect from them. Your team will do what you do. Lead by example, and your team will do the same. Continuously grow through personal development. The vital process, that is where you're going to get your challengers growing into the coaches that are advocates for other products. Definitely you want to dedicate yourself to helping your new coaches get results, but everybody in general, you want them to have belief not only in the product, but in the Beachbody and themselves and in what we do as a whole. Because then they're going to be so passionate and compelled to share it with other people. There will be no there will be no objection that will be able to stand in their way. Okay. Remember, you're going to have people that also sign on and they'll want to be a coach, but you have to really wonder, should they be a coach or should they be a challenger first? Because some people need to really just focus on their journey first versus being on the business and being, I sign a lot of coaches that want to do their business and the journey at the same time. People can very much handle that, but remember, that's a lot to handle at one time. They have to, so that's a lot to do at one time. Just remember that. So just keep that in mind, because if they lose sight of the focus on their journey in the long run, they may not stick around because they're going to lose sight of why they started, which will be their health and fitness journey. Okay. So, sometimes I know we want to put us, or here, you have to start those 3 new people. But if they're really struggling with their fitness journey, guys, you just have to sometimes back off. When a coach is ready to work, hold their hands to those first 3 steps, keep it simple. Your coaches are amazing at getting people started. So I'm not even going to go into this, but I'll tell you, when you get beyond getting people started, you can't handhold people who say they want this, that want to build a business, because they need to be kicked out of the nest. If you were to keep, imagine if baby birds are in a nest and the mother never sent them, kicked them out of the nest, and they never learned to fly. Same thing with our business. If you keep your baby coaches in your nest, then they're never going to go out, and they're going to ride your coattail, and they will ride your coattail. It doesn't matter how much they love you. It doesn't matter how much they respect you. They probably love you to death. And I probably would too, but they'll love you more, and they'll probably be pissed at you at first. But I promise you that they will be thankful that you kicked them out of the nest at first, or that you kicked them out of the nest in general. I feel bad going into the last slide, but I feel like it's necessary. Sorry. Last but not least, your challenge coach versus your mentor coach. You guys, this is the thing. You have to remember, regardless of what type of coach you are, your coach chose you for a reason. You are doing your coach a disservice if you tiptoe around them. So whatever type of coach your coach is, I'm a big believer of meeting my coaches halfway. I meet you halfway. You walk, you walk. You run, I run. You sprint, I sprint. But if you go missing, I'm not going to go hunt you down. But I'm going to tell you one thing. If your if your challenger is telling you, I'm reaching in the cookie jar eating a pack of cookies every week, and I don't know why I'm getting results, are you going to say, oh, that's okay, you're doing amazing, I'm so proud of you? No, you aren't. You aren't, because you're going to be like, this person came to me to coach them, to help them keep accountable to their health and fitness goals, to help them change their life. You're going to call them out. You're going to say in a very graceful way, listen, girl, we got to identify what's the issue, what's going on. Is there something at home? Is there something going on? Why, what's making you, why is there a trigger? You're going to get to the root of the issue. We have to do the same as business mentors for our coaches. When you have this business building coaches that come into this business and then they all suddenly are derailed, or they're all of a sudden off in la la land, you're like, wait, you are a business building coach and you're not even trying to help 2 or 3 people in this new month. Whoa, mind blown. No, you need to go to the root of the issue. They came to you for a reason, and that's to keep them accountable. Reality checkpoints are needed because it is our job, especially as leaders, to let others know if they're on the right path or not, and to show them the way to get there. Remember, it's not just you. Once again, it's about them. You're responsible for taking care of others and helping them realize and reach their full potential. So just something to keep in mind when you have that guilt of having tough love and all that stuff. So I know that was a lot longer than you guys ever have for a call. People are probably falling asleep because I'm sure. Like Raquel was like 30 minutes on the dot. I was like, shit.
No, it was good. Lots of helpful information. And I think what you just ended with, I think is so good of that. You know, how we train our coaches, it's the same thing. We're not going to treat our challengers and say, oh, it's okay that you're eating cookies every single night, eating a whole sleeve of Oreos. And I think the same thing is true for our coaches. You know, I think sometimes, you know, we want to be cheerleaders, but at the end of the day, if you have set goals, we have to hold you accountable to those goals too. And, you know, it's the end of the month. I talked about this with some of my coaches that I just had. It's the end of the month, and whether or not you have hit your goal of Success Club, we still have 4 days to make it happen. And I could just sit here and say, it's okay, you know, September's coming up, so no worries, you know, we're in the middle of a hurricane, so I understand. And truly, if you're in the middle of a hurricane, I'm not right now, like I'm okay. Clearly take a break. But, you know, but I'm also here to push you and say, this is your goal at the beginning of the month. You still have time to push. And I'm here to be with you every step of the way to help you do that. So lots of great, helpful tips, Megan. You've obviously created a successful business so that you know what's working. So thank you so much. And I know it's super late for you. Thank you for staying up late to lead our team call for us. It's 10 o'clock here, and I think it's 11 o'clock where you are. So
no worries.
Yes, thank you. Does anybody have any questions? I think I only saw one about the webinar, and that's just like a pre-recorded webinar that you like send people, right? Is that correct? It's already recorded and you send that out?
Yeah, it's just like, I recommend, mine has always been, I've always kind of compared it to other leaders. I feel like most do like 45 to 50 minutes. I don't feel like that's like realistically for like time bound people. Like we need it to be like 30 minutes or less. I find that's what people are like, if I can you can send me something that's 30 minutes or less, send it to me now. I want to know.
Yeah.
And I feel that we've always kind of been, I don't know, I've always felt like, I feel like the Team Beachbody one is really a great one to go off of. There's some things that are like a little too salesy that I take out of there. But I used to always focus on shooting down objections. I think if you provide the info, like you should, like we were kind of, like I talked about, put out the basic details and let them come to you with the questions, and then you tailor it to what they need.
I think so too. I think leading with the positive is be on the offense rather than the defense is always a great method.
I do, but I feel like there's sometimes that we've been so focused in this business a little bit on how to be defensive. I've actually just changed my new coach training to not even objections, but how to address excuses. Because really, if you really dig deep under the excuses, guys, it's usually something that has to do with fear. Whether it might be financial, it's not, maybe fear of, maybe it is financial, like because I'm going to spend the money and then I'm going to fail and my husband's going to be pissed because I spent the money. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
But it's ultimately the fear is the underlying issue. It's not so much the finances. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, totally. That's so true.
You have to dig a little deeper.
Yes. Well, thank you so much.
You're welcome.
It, and I know that we've got this call recorded so that other people can watch it and benefit from tonight's call too. So thank you and have a great night.
Bye, guys.
Bye.
Thanks, y'all. Bye-bye.
Thanks for having me.